Nobody said anything yet.
Everybody's coming in. The whole crew. Not here. That's just mine. Welcome everybody. Welcome to our recovery session. It's a recovery workout, but it's not a whole lot of a workout. It's pretty easy, pretty laid back. There's gonna be some foam rolling. So if you have a foam roller, that would be great. A mat as well. If you do have a little ball, anything like a tennis ball size, it also will work as well. If not, water, so anything round will really work. Yeah, so it's gonna be pretty fun, pretty easy. We're just gonna be kind of relaxing here. So I'm gonna mute everybody. I can't hear anybody anyway. I don't know if it's just my end. But if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself or message in the chat or anything like that. All right. So we're gonna start. We're just gonna get started with a little bit of warm-up stuff. So here, we're just gonna get the blood moving to our muscles and our joints. So I'm gonna start with the neck. I'm gonna do some head rolls. Can't hear me very well.
It might just be me.
Now.
Oh, that's better.
Oh, now I can hear everybody. Holy, I don't know what's going on. My computer's not working. I'm not very technologically inclined, so you hear me better. So I don't know if you could hear me very well before, but we just need the foam roller, a little ball if you have one about this size, and mat. It's gonna be that's gonna be it. It's a very light workout, nothing too crazy. Sorry if I messed up forward. So we're gonna start just by getting some blood flowing to some of the muscles as part of the recovery process. So we're gonna start at the neck. So we're gonna do some slow circles. So these workout here's are all about you. All about if you're feeling a little tight in one area or anything like that, you just kind of want to focus on that. I'm gonna pull my head to the side. I'm just gonna do a little neck stretch here. So you don't have to go exactly my speed if you need another second somewhere to relax a little bit more. If you're feeling a little extra tight in some areas, you do whatever you have to do to go a little bit more loose. And do a few more neck rolls. And now I'm gonna go to the shoulder. So I'm just gonna do some slow circles. Some slow circles. So what we're doing is we're just getting blood back to the joints, and super blood carries all the nutrients and stuff. Super helpful in the recovery process. Nothing too crazy. And I'm just turning the other way. So keeping that blood there. Whew. And now I'm just gonna do some chest openers. Just get some blood moving, some other muscles. So ultimately, this is a just recovery workout, pretty light, pretty easy. We're gonna do a little bit of foam rolling, a little bit of stretching, a little bit of yoga. It'll be pretty quick, just about a half an hour. Should be pretty fun. And now, do this. We're gonna make like a T with our arms. And it's gonna be nice and slow. We're gonna bring them down as far as we can go, and we're going to come back up. So it's not going to be too long. We're going to just hold it at each position. And what it's providing is a little stretch to our back and our shoulder. So these muscles are pretty tight all day from being from the computer. I know mine are from watching all my online lectures. So just a few here. And just try pushing the range a little bit further each time. Just as far as you can go. Nice and slow here. Boom. I'm trying to watch you guys on the TV, but you guys are actually on my computer, so it doesn't look like I'm looking at you. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Now we're going to do a little bit of rotation with lifting that heel. We're just warming up the back a little bit, getting some nice stretch through it. Whew. My back's pretty tight today. I've been watching lectures from like 8 a.m. this morning to like 5 minutes ago, so I need to get up and move. And now we're going to do a few squats. We're going to warm up the knees and the ankles and the hips. This is a good one. Nice and slow though. I'm not doing too many of these, but I'm just getting the joints nice and loose. Whew. And one more. I'm gonna go into a little bit of side lunge. Here's gonna be more of a stretch. So I'm gonna hold this position, not super low, but I'm feeling the stretch right through the inner thigh. I'm just gonna go back and forth here, not necessarily a full lunge. What we're doing is we're still warming up the knees, just getting a little stretch to the inside of the leg. And just a couple more on each side. And good. All right. Next thing we're gonna do, we're just gonna reach over, we're gonna bend towards the floor. As far as you can really go, you can let the hands dangle here. And we're gonna kind of rock back and forth. This is good for the spine, good for the back of the legs. As far as you wanna go, don't have to go all the way to the floor. I'm not super flexible, so I'm just hanging out a little bit below the knees. And just kind of relax the muscles. Let your shoulders drop, hands drop. Just getting the body nice and loose for this nice stretch and workout. And to finish up, we're just gonna do a couple ankle rolls. So I'm gonna try and raise my foot so you can see it. We're just gonna do a couple circles with the foot. Just a few in one direction, a few in the other direction, we'll switch feet. We're just getting the ankles a little bit involved here, nothing too long. Well, I hear a little cracking here, but I know I do. And good, if you need to go a little bit longer, feel free. I'm gonna move the camera down a little bit so you see me a little better. We're gonna start a little bit of our foam rolling now. So if you have a mat out, grab your foam roller. There's a soft surface, whatever works best for you. I'm gonna start right on the upper back area and just rolling nice and soft, just kind of rolling the muscles, not really getting too much of the spine stretch, just kind of rolling. And again, this is whatever's comfortable for you. So it's not, if it's kind of painful and not too relaxing, it's you don't have to do it. I'm gonna slowly work my way down my back, working towards my glutes. Let's go lower. I'm gonna put my hands behind me to take a little pressure off. Now we're just rolling right here. Just to make it a little bit more tolerable. I can tell you, Tuesday, Thursdays, this recovery workout is like all I look forward to. From all of Adam's workouts, I'm feeling pretty sore. And all I want to do is relax a little bit and get a little bit loose. So I'm going to slowly work towards my butt area. So there's two ways you can do this. You can just sit on it regular and roll back and forth. Or you can turn towards the side a little bit, and that will focus on one side of the leg a little bit more. So just like you're sitting on it, I'm going to put my opposite arm down and just roll. Roll right here. This part is some places here, at least for me, is where it gets a little bit tender. Usually if it's a little bit tender, means it's doing the job. But if it's too painful, like I said, kind of back off a little bit. And I'm gonna work over to my right side. You need to stay on your left side a little bit more, feel free. Some people are a little bit more tight on one side. You just have to listen to your body. I know my right side's always a lot more tighter than my left. So I'll spend a few extra seconds on my right usually. But do whatever works for you. And I'm gonna work my way down to the hamstrings now, so I'm gonna be right below the butt. Going up and down between the knee, back of the knees, and the hips. And again, if you want, you can focus on one side a little bit more. And I'm gonna work my way down to the calves now. Right in the back of the legs. This is definitely the most tight spot on these calves right here. So another option, you put your butt on the floor and just push down with the leg, roll it back and forth here. And then you can switch legs whenever the other one's feeling good. And switch another leg. This is almost nice. And whenever your calves feel nice and loose, we're gonna roll over to our fronts, trying to get the quads right in front of our legs. So I'm gonna put it right on my knees, and then I'm gonna fall right over on top of it. And I'm right here, just rolling back and forth. And this is another one you can do one at a time if you want. If you want to go off the side of it, so I'm about side, just do my right leg here. And then you can kind of tilt your hips. This is where it starts getting a little bit tender for me, up towards the hip region. All those muscles. Switch to my other hip. So next I'm gonna go right on the side of the hip. So this one's gonna be one of the more tender ones. So you can be on your elbow or on your hand. I'm almost sitting on it like I'm on the side of my hip. I have my top leg crossed over the bottom one. The bottom one is straight. And I'm just rolling up and down the side of the leg. This one is one of the more tender spots. There's a lot of tissues that are connecting with one another in there that tend to get pretty tight, and they really need this foam rolling. So this part gets to be a little bit tender. Don't go right over the knee, but get as close as you want. So. And whenever you feel like that one side's good, I'm gonna switch on over to the next side. Top leg goes over the bottom leg, the one that you're sitting on. And you're just rocking back and forth. This foam rolling is great. Even if you don't have a foam roller, anything from like a rolling pin to just a little tennis ball or something will really do the trick. And definitely an important part in the recovery process. I get it in about twice a week, right here with you guys, and I definitely need it. All right. I'm done with the foam roller now. I'm gonna take it over to this ball if you have one. If not, anything like a water bottle will work for the feet just fine. Any little ball, anything like that. So what I'm gonna do is you can be sitting on the floor doing this, you can sit on a foam roller, sit on a couch, whatever you want to do. Or you can even do the standing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the ball right on my feet. I'm gonna put a little pressure down through my leg. I'm just gonna roll the ball around. So you can do this sitting in a chair, or you can do it even standing. Put a little more pressure through. I'm just doing small little circles on my feet. Kind of working through the arch of my foot, over my heel. That's where I get a lot of cracking and creaking. You're on your feet all day. Well, maybe not now that we're all home, but I used to be on my feet all day, so they never really got appreciated enough. So this is where we appreciate them. Got a lot of little bones and things like that in there that really like this ball rolling around, pushing them around. In the physical therapy world, we like to say motion is lotion. So anytime you get some movement for your feet is perfect. And however you want to do it, I'm going to go heel to toe, I'm going to across the arch, just across the big toes. I'm going to start working over to my other foot. Whew. Definitely tell my left foot it's a little tighter today. A little bit more sore and tender working through with the ball. So just doing little circles. What I do is I keep this ball right out in the living room. Actually, most of the time around that cedar chest you see right behind me. And whenever I'm sitting on the couch or something watching a show, I'll roll my feet out or just rub it over my legs or something like that. It's really good. Break up some of the tissue. Awesome. And now my feet are nice and loose here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ball in my hand. I'm going to hit some spots that the foam roller didn't really get to. So a lot of time, my chest is pretty sore from a lot of Adam's workouts. So what I'm going to do is just with the palm of my hand, just roll around my chest area, kind of near my shoulder. You can even do the sides of your necks. Don't try to avoid the front of your neck. Do the side of your neck if you want. Roll over each side. Trauma always most sore. You get a little better stretch if you want. You can put your arm back while you do this on that side. This is really all about you. Whatever feels a little tight, a little sore, or just breaking up some of that tissue. I think it's one of my favorite ones right here. I got a lot of favorite ones, but it's definitely one of my favorites. One right here. Want to do the neck? I mean, you can even do the face if you want. I mean, whatever you want to do. Do the shoulder, go through the arm a little bit. Sometimes the foam roller is a little bit too big and heavy to get over these, so I'm just breaking up some of the tissue to get ready for some stretching and some yoga. A little bit. Oh, losing my ball. Perfect. And whenever you feel like you've got all the spots you want to get, put the foam roller and the ball back. We'll just grab our mat. But again, it's all about you. So if you need another second with it, go right ahead. So once everybody's feeling nice and loose, we're going to start with a kind of a new one I've done the past couple sessions. One of my favorite, upper body. Really loosens the shoulder and loosens the chest area out quite a bit. So we're starting to get some stretching. So we're going to be sitting, feet just a little bit apart here, right about hip width. And what we're going to do is we're going to lay right on our backs. Put our hands out in front of us, right together, so the palms are facing up in the air. What we're going to do is we're going to roll to one side. So I'm going to roll to my left side and dropping the knees and the hands right to the floor. So from this position, I'm taking my top arm and bring it right back across my body so my chest is kind of facing the ceiling as far as it can. So I'm almost like a T. And so with my opposite hand, I move back. I'm going to start doing some small circles, just like I'm drawing circles in the sand. Trying to keep the hand as close to the floor as I can, making circles over my legs Back to my other hand and up overhead. If you feel a spot that's a little tight, when I get overhead, I get some spots that are pretty tight. So I'm going to hang out here for an extra second. Just do probably 3 to 4 circles right here. What it does is just slowly moving. It's going to give the muscles some time to relax. Another thing here, focusing on your breath really helps those muscles relax. You don't have to breathe in through your mouth, out through your nose, whatever. As long as you're getting some big, deep breaths in. And when you're exhaling, you're trying to let the muscles relax a little bit. I'll probably do 1 circle on this side, but you keep doing as much circles as your shoulders need. And I'm going to bring my hands back together and roll right back on my back just like we started. Hang out here for a second, reach my hands up as far as they'll go. Really feel like I got some more length in my right arm right now than my left from that last one. And I'm going to go over to the other side. So I'm going to do the same thing once again. Feel free to put one leg over the other if you feel like you're a little unbalanced. I'm going to draw this hand right across the top, making that T, stretching the chest out. And I'm just going to make those small circles again. On the side, I have my left leg over my right, just for a little bit more stability when I'm going back and forth here. With each circle, try to reach a little bit further than you did before. Just a little bit further, as long as it's not too painful. Just get a nice stretch. I'm about to do 1 more circle and then bring it back home. And back on my back, and I'm going to bring it all the way back up to sitting. So from here, I'm going to keep my feet in the air. I'm going to face you guys a little bit so you can see this one better. I've done this one quite a bit. This is definitely the best 3 stretches for your lower extremity. What we're going to do is we're going to keep the feet just a little bit wider than the hips. What we're going to do is we're going to start rocking back and forth with the knees and the hips. We're not forcing it to the ground, but we're letting it drop as far as we can. If yours goes to the ground, that's good. If not, that's not bad. Mine definitely don't, especially on my right side. So I got my hands right behind me for some support. I'm just leaning back a little bit and just starting to let the hips open up as my knee kind of drops towards the floor a little bit more each time. So some gentle motion, loosening the hip to get ready for the stretches about to come for it. You do notice my right side is a little bit tighter, so I might spend an extra second or 2 over there. And on my next drop over to my right, I'm going to sit a little bit more forward, putting my heel right on top of my knee. So I'm making 2 triangles with my legs. It's kind of hard to see because my pants are dark, but so just 2 triangles. What we're going to do is we're going to sit nice and tall as we can, have a hand still behind us for support, and we're going to bring the center of our chest over the front knee. So you should feel a stretch through the back of the hip. So don't go as hard as you can and hurt yourself. We're just going to ease into this. I'm going to exhale as I ease into it. Help me relax a little bit. I feel the stretch right kind of where I'm sitting on the ground. So while you're down here, you can either kind of do mini push-ups, come in and out of it here. or you can even move some side to side movements. Just nice and gentle though, don't go too quick. You might end up hurting muscle. I'm gonna hold it for another second. I'm gonna come back to sitting. And what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna turn so you guys can see me again. So I'm still holding that position with my legs. I'm gonna drop my forearm to the ground, right behind. So my leg is pretty straight, right with my torso. So my torso and leg's pretty straight. What we're gonna do is we're going to put a little arch in our lower back, and you should feel a stretch right in the front of your hip. If you don't feel a stretch in the front of your hip, bring your elbow back a little bit more. And as you bring it back, you'll feel a little bit more stretch in the front of the hip and even in the front of the thigh. This is very important sitting in chairs all day. We got to kind of reverse the effects. Stretching right here. I'm going to focus on my breath. Try to let my glutes relax a little bit. They like to tense up during these ones. So as the stretch goes, I'm going to keep moving back as my muscles lengthen. Still focusing on that breath. And on the next exhale, I'm going to bring my arm right overhead and up as high as I can, and I'm going to slowly drop the chest to the floor, reaching as far out as I can with my hand. You just feel a little stretch through the back. If it becomes too painful, bring the stretch back a little bit. If you're not feeling quite enough stretch, we'll stretch a little bit further. So you can drop your chest as low as you can, still having that elbow down for support. You can, if you want to drop your head on the mat, you can. Just relax a bit. Try and relax those muscles. One more breath here. And come back to sitting. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side now. Gotta balance it out. My left side is feeling pretty nice and loose. So I'm gonna bring my knees to the opposite side now, making that triangle once again. I'm gonna drop my chest over that front knee. And you feel a nice little stretch to the back of the hip. We start with our knees here, dropped them right down, make a triangle, and then this is my front knee. Just slowly bending over as far into the stretch as you want. Might not be very far, might be up here. I'm still feeling a good stretch right here. Pull it down a little further, make stretch a little bit more. And as I said before, you can kind of move back and forth very gently if you want to here. Kind of loosen up the tissues. If you want to come in and out, almost like mini push-ups here. That as well. As long as it's nice and gentle, pretty slow. I'm going to take one more breath here. And take it back to sitting. And like before, I'm going to drop my forearm right on the mat behind me. And so I'm laying with my leg pretty straight, that pretty straight line. You should feel a nice stretch through the front of the leg, front of the hip. If you don't feel a stretch, we're going to bring that forearm back a little bit more. And if it's a little bit too much of a stretch, you're going to bring the forearm closer to the front of your body. Turn so you guys can see a little bit better. So I'm feeling the stretch right through here. Still focusing on my breath. Slowly bring my arm up and overhead. And my next exhale, I'm gonna drop it to the floor. Get a nice stretch through the back. So I still got my hand on the floor for some support. And I'm just reaching as far as I can. Get my chest as close to the floor. Getting a little stretch through the back. And the next breath, I'm gonna bring it right back to sitting. Awesome. Now I'm gonna do a little bit of quick yoga. Should be a little bit more relaxing. So we're gonna start right on our hands and knees here. Right on our hands and knees on the mat. Just like this. We're just gonna do a couple positions. And then we're gonna finish up. So we're gonna be right here. We're gonna bring our abdomen close to the ground as we can, right in the stomach area. And we're gonna arch the neck up and the tailbone. So we should feel a nice stretch to the front side. And I'm gonna exhale and push up and round my back out. I feel a nice little stretch through my spine. And bring it back down one more time. Letting the back sag to the ground, lifting the tailbone up, lifting the neck up. And again, breathe out and push up as high as I can. And relax. Bring your knees out a little bit wider than usual. What we're gonna do is we're gonna rock right back into child's pose. So we're gonna kind of sit right back on our heels. So we're gonna push right back, sit on our heels. We're gonna hold this position just for a second. If you wanna rock back and forth, stretch the hips out a little bit more, you can. If you wanna rock forward and back, if that feels good. If you just wanna hold this position and drop your head to the floor, that works as well. I'm just gonna hold one more breath here. And back on the hands and knees. I'm gonna drop my stomach to the floor just like I'm laying on my stomach. And now I'm gonna push up with my hands. You can also push up on the forearms. And we're just gonna stretch that back out. So you can also bring on the forearms. We're stretching the back a little bit more, as well as the front side. So this is as high up as your body will allow. If it's too painful, bring it back down a little bit. Move side to side if you want. Some upward dog. My next breath, I'm bringing it back to hands and knees. And from here, I'm gonna push up into downward dog. So I'm gonna make a little pyramid with my body, digging the toes in, pushing up the upper body. And what I'm gonna do is just a nice little pedal with my back legs. Straight in downward dog, just a little pedal, keeping the knees nice and soft. Just feel a little stretch to the hamstring maybe. A little stretch through the calves. I know I do. Still focusing on that breath. Stay nice and tall. One more breath and bring it back to hands and knees. Now I'm gonna bring it around onto the back side. We're getting to our last few here, last couple. Let me sitting. There's a couple ways to do this next one. I'm gonna roll right on my back. And you can either hold the knees if you want and squeeze that into your chest and you can rock back and forth. Or if you want a little bit more stretch, you can grab your feet and we're gonna do what's called happy baby. So right here with your knees are a little wide, you can rock back and forth. You can rock forward and back if you want. We're just kind of rolling out the back. Starting to relax here. You can close your eyes if you want. Apologize, my voice is the most relaxing thing. I should put some like ocean waves in the background or something. Just a couple breaths here. Feeling nice little stretch to the front of the hip. Back's feeling really nice. You've had enough of that. I'm just going to slowly drop my feet to the floor. My arms do the same. So I'm lying right in dead man's pose. And just try to relax all the muscles in your body as much as you can. Now that I'm relaxed, I'm just take a couple breaths here. Take as long as you need, laying right there, focus on your breath. And whenever you feel ready to become present, you sit right on up. And come on back. And that was a Adam Clark Fitness recovery workout of the day. I'm gonna unmute you all now. I'm still trying to figure out this Zoom thing. Awesome. Awesome. That was it. Nice and cool. Feeling a little bit more loose now.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Of course. And we'll do it again Thursday. If anybody's interested. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your night and rest and have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks, Noah.